You know, today is about releasing. We do the burning bowl, and the reason we do it is to release, so that you can begin the year fresh. So you can begin the year without the past as much on your mind as it was when you walked in here. And we're intending to release this, and so much of the releasing process, however you do it, is by intention. So if you intend to release it and you do anything, you tend to get a result, and that's what we're hoping for, is that you will feel when you leave here that you have left something that you no longer want to carry. Now, one of the things I know that is really difficult for many people, and what actually drives people to unity, because most people come from another denomination, they weren't born into unity. The ones that I used to say, you have to go through your first divorce before you get to unity. So with that in mind, I'd like to give you something to laugh about. Here's Groucho Marx. Groucho says, "I was married by a judge. I should have asked for a jury." And then Jimmy Durante said this, "You know, my wife has a slight speech impediment. Every now and then she stops to breathe." Oh. How about this one? Zsa Gabor, more or less her answer to Jimmy Durante: "I've never hated a man enough to give back his diamonds." And in celebration of last night, Alex Levine said this: "Only Irish coffee provides in a single glass all the four essential food groups: alcohol, caffeine, sugar, and fat." So, with that, there's one more that y'all already know. I don't have to tell you. And this was by George Burns, and it goes like this: "The secret of a good sermon is to have a good beginning, a good ending, and have the two as close together as possible." All right. I was trying to think what has been one of the most effective ways of releasing for me in the last decade or so. And I would like to bring your mind back to what Byron Katie has put forth as a very simple way of releasing. You know, much of every form of spiritual awakening comes with release. And it can be in the form of prayer or meditation. Often when the Transcendental people were talking about the nature of meditation in their style of meditation, you would say the mantra and you would go like you were walking through an area with elephants sleeping, and one would wake up, and that would be the release of that energy that you had knotted up, the tension you had knotted up. As you went deeper and deeper, you popped off a little bit of energy, and you were freed up that way, and you began to transcend your experience. Likewise, Jesus talks about forgiveness. The Course in Miracles talks about forgiveness. Almost every deep and profound system of life really says you need to release if you want to have a beautiful, happy life. And we tend to think we can pile on more good and not worry about the release. And the tendency is that that base that we're putting it on is not adequate to support the happiness we think the new will happen. And so it crumbles. And so if you want to start with a firm foundation, the secret is to forgive, release, however you say it. The part that I find quite fascinating is that I've talked to many people, and many people in our culture say, I have a very critical mind. I'm very judgmental. I notice the faults. I make a big deal out of that. As I'm just looking around, I notice everything. I'll just notice, oh, well, the curtains aren't straight. You know, look at that guy's pants. I can't believe he wears, you know, etc. It will go like that, right? We're critical. The interesting thing about the critical mind is once you develop it, it doesn't know where to stop. It doesn't say, oh, I'll be critical about food, and be non-critical about everything else, it tends to be greedy and want more territory. But the worst part of its greed is that it comes and takes you as the subject. So as you point the finger, now you have 3 critical fingers pointing backward at you. And so the practice of criticizing or finding fault with or judging or however the nuance of that energy is, however you do it, it is not free. It comes back to bite you. So if you want to be happy, you cannot be that judgmental. Now, you may be cute and fun at a party, and many jokes, like the ones we have just read, are hilarious, so to speak, are hilarious because they are critical, but the danger is that it will come back and eat you alive. And so the release of anything is the release of setting you free. You set yourself free when you forgive another. You set the energy, the pattern of release by forgiving someone else, and it comes back to you. You forgive her, and you be forgiven. You stop condemning him, and you walk through life easier.
I hope you got something out of today's service. We intend to bring you things that will help you in your life become more of who you want to be, give you the freedom of forgiveness and the hope of expectancy that your life will unfold in a way that brings you joy, happiness, and is a contribution to the world. If you would like to contribute to this ministry, please go to unitytriangle.org, hit the donate button, and it will lead you into an easy way of doing that. We thank you for your attention and look forward to seeing you again here.